I played Star Wars Outlaws early, so I've put together some of the things I am looking forward to the most, and most importantly, what version is the best one to get, if you even buy the game at all. For those of you that don't know, Star Wars Outlaws is an upcoming open-world Star Wars game that takes place in between The Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. You play as Kay Vess, an outlaw that has found herself as one of the most wanted people in the galaxy. But real quick, I just want to give a special shout out to Ubisoft for inviting me to play the game early and also giving me over 4 hours of playtime. Now during this playtime, I utilized every single second to accomplish everything from main quests, side missions, speeder races, and even death to fall damage. Okay, multiple deaths to fall damage. But anyway, let's get into it. Planets. I was able to play missions located on 2 of the planets included in the Star Wars Outlaws universe. The first planet was Toshara, a desert biome inspired by the African savanna. Its windswept plains and canyons stretched for as far as the eye could see. Even though the world looked scenic, Toshara is extremely corrupt and is home to many, many dangerous criminals. This canyon and mountain-covered landscape contained the secret hideouts of pirates and bandits alike. The second planet was Kijimi, a frigid, mountainous planet that you may remember from Star Wars Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker, after they blew it up. Both of these planets had a tremendous amount of details walking through them, so I'm excited to see just how in-depth they will be upon release, and also what other planets that will be included. The missions I did play were contained to these planets, so I wasn't able to actually travel between other worlds. Space battles.
All right, let's go.
As someone that put way too much time into Rogue Squadron 2 back in the day, it was nice to be able to take part in some awesome space missions. As with other open-world games, as you are traveling, you can encounter random events, which you can choose to involve yourself or not. These events can give yourself a wanted level or hostile marker that must be cleared by eliminating nearby satellites that share your wanted status. Also, there was an animation for taking off and landing, but you were able to fly towards a planet and pick the designated landing area. Overall, in combat, the ships felt fairly responsive, and it was a pretty enjoyable experience. Data spike. Okay, this may seem a little weird to add to the list, but I absolutely loved the data spike minigame you use when hacking locked doors and containers. You have to repeat the sound pattern that you hear by pressing on your controller or keyboard. It's probably just me being a musician, but I really enjoyed the fact that I had to listen to the full sound pattern in order to replicate it to open the door. They do allow you to also look left and right as well, because there were times that you're hacking doors during intense situations. I thought this was a pretty unique twist. They also have accessibility features that include a flashing light next to the lock in case you aren't able to hear the sounds. Comment down below if you could think of another game that does something similar with sound cues like this. Nyx. Not only is Nyx just an awesome friend and a sidekick, he is incredibly useful with both completing missions and engaging multiple enemies. You have the ability to command him to interact with objects such as disabling cameras, or alarm systems, or even open doors. You could also use him to distract enemies, or if you're like me who likes to just run and gun missions, you can just have him attack someone while you take care of their partner. Factions. Every choice you make in Star Wars Outlaws impacts your reputation with multiple factions in the game. If you choose to side with one and screw over another, your respective reputation with that faction will rise or fall. This impacts not only access into certain areas of cities, but also what gear you can purchase from faction vendors. Of course, there are always ways to bypass security in these restricted zones. You just have to stealth your way around. Controls. In case you may have noticed, I did play this entire playthrough with mouse and keyboard. I am primarily a mouse and keyboard player, and although I figure the majority of people will choose to play this on a controller, I did decide to play this on a mouse and keyboard. So if you are a mouse and keyboard user, I will say the controls did feel pretty responsive. I had limited access to certain settings in this playthrough. Ubisoft did recommend using a controller, and I believe there are still some small finishing touches being added before the game comes out. Overall, I'd give it a 7 out of 10 on the control feel. Nothing felt incredibly clunky, but again, this is something we will see on release, and also most people will probably play this on a controller. Open world. The most exciting thing about Star Wars Outlaws is the fact that it is classified as an open world game. In my limited playthrough time, I was able to explore the streets of 2 cities, and there did appear to be numerous side quests and random encounters with strangers. Everything from visiting the bar, eavesdropping on patrons to hear some potential intel on loot to smuggle, betting on the ponies, or just talking to people on the street definitely have my hopes up for this game's release. As for how in-depth they will go with this remains to be seen, but I still remain hopeful. So now that I've shared some of my favorite aspects of the game, the most important thing really comes down to, is the game worth it? Now when we take a look at the different options, there really is only one clear winner in my opinion. You have the base game, set at $69.99 US, which comes with the game itself and a pre-order bonus of some cosmetics. The Gold Edition comes in at $109.99 US, contains the same as the Standard Edition, but also 3-day early access and the Season Pass. The Season Pass contains 2 DLCs. The Ultimate Edition is set at $129.99 US, has everything the Gold Edition does, but also some cosmetic bundles, and a digital art book. And last but not least is the edition that I think is the most important, Ubisoft Plus. Now hear me out. With Ubisoft Plus, you can purchase a monthly subscription for $17.99 US. This can be canceled at any time. So essentially you have a month to get the Ultimate Edition and determine if you like it. This should be more than enough time to play through and get a feel for your own opinions on the game. The worst case scenario is you don't like it. At the same time, you get access to all the other Ubisoft titles, so for the rest of the month, you can play some Assassin's Creed or Siege. So these are just some of the things I'm looking forward to in Star Wars Outlaws. We really won't know much more about the game until it comes out at the end of August. Until then, if you did like this video, go ahead and like the video. Go ahead and subscribe if you're looking for more Star Wars related content coming out when the game releases. Until then, if you go into the description, you'll see a playlist of some of the missions I did during the playtest. Now, these missions are no commentary, just straight up missions, my mistakes and all. So go ahead and enjoy. Make sure to drop a like on those as well. I appreciate you all, and I'll see you in the next one.